What's going on, guys? It's VenomousFatman here with ShiftedToYou.com, and this is the bit, the boys in the tube. I know I haven't done one in quite a while. I've been, busy with a bunch of stuff, but now I got a brand new interview for all of you guys. Right now, I'm sitting down with Nick McCandless from theGamerAccess.com, also known as Nick McFresh. What is happening, Nick? Welcome.
What's up, man? So glad to be here. Glad you contacted me to get this interview set up, and I'm ready to go.
All right, cool. So let's get right down into it. We're going to talk about literally everything. We're going to talk about the gamer access. We're going to talk about Nick himself. We're going to talk about games, the game industry. It's going to be epic, people. So getting right into it, let's go back to the beginning, Nick. Let's kind of go to, day one, ground zero for you as far as getting involved with gaming. So how did you get introduced to video games? What was it like? What was the thing that kind of was the spark that started the fire?
Wow. Okay, so I'm glad you actually asked that because this is a story I don't think many people know.
Ooh,
So it's actually kind of crazy. A lot of people they're like, "Oh, I want to start a gaming industry, so I'm gonna go ahead and start a blog." No. So essentially, when I was in high school, like sports was my passion. That's all I cared about. I played games every now and then, but playing baseball, I was extremely passionate about the sport. Spent all my time focusing on how I could get better. Well, senior year of high school, no, sorry, junior year of high school, I was pitching because I was a pitcher. I played third base, but I pitched it. The guy hit a line drive right back at my knee, completely shattered my knee. Worst pain I've ever
ouch,
had
that's
in my
gotta
life.
hurt.
So yeah, I actually blacked out. It was that bad. So got rushed to the hospital, and they did whatever. Well, after they got done doing the surgery, which I don't remember because I was obviously knocked out at the time, the doctor pretty much told me he put it in a nice way that doctors know how to do that, but they he didn't say that I would never be able to play sports again, but he said I would never be able to perform to the best of my ability as I did before. And I mean, after the surgery, just my knee's never been the same. So I knew at that moment, I was like, okay, my passion has been destroyed. My dreams have been destroyed. What am I going to do now? It was like a month period. I was like in a mood of I wasn't severely depressed, but I was depressed. And I was like, okay, my number one passion, what I've been working on, because I played baseball since I was 6 years old. I was like, my passion has now been destroyed. What I've worked on for years, busted my ass over, is now it's gone. So I was like, okay. One day I was like, well, I just need to get over myself. I need to find something. I've got to find another passion. I'm not going to live the rest of my life thinking about, well, why did I get injured or anything like that? Because that's not going to allow me to do anything. So I was thinking one day, I was like, okay, I played sports, I played video games. And at the time, I'm not going to lie, I was like, well, video games, that's not really a bit, you can't really get into business related things with that unless you're like working in the industry. I'm like, I mean, I'll just start a blog spot. I mean, it's just something to do. So I started a basic blogspot account, and it was just basic copy and paste the news. Now, this was over 4 years ago, but just basic copy and pasting news. And I was like, I did that for about 6 months, and I saw that there was actually people coming back and commenting. So I was like, wow, like people are actually reading what I'm doing. So shortly after that, I was like, okay, let me actually branch out and start my own website. So I started a website by the name of SonyPS3News.com because I'm still a fan of the PlayStation 3 platform. That's my preferred console.
Yeah, cool.
But at the time, I was like, okay, let me start a website about Sony PS3 News. So came with the website. I did that for almost a year, and I started noticing that there was decent traffic. Now, at the time, now keep in mind that our traffic's a lot stronger now, but
Yeah,
at the time, this was about 4 years ago, I was getting like 400, 500 visits a day, which at the time I was like blown away. I was like, holy crap, I have 400 to 500 people come to my site every day.
that's good.
I was like, and then the number one piece of advice that people started giving me is they're like, Nick, we love what you're doing, but how about you cover the gaming industry instead of just the PS3? So I was like, I'll see what I can do. About 2 months later, I launched thegameraccess.com.
Hmm.
The name just kind of came about. There's not really a true meaning to it. It sticks. I love the idea of the name. I would never, I'm glad I developed the name I did. How it developed, it just came in my mind. So launched thegameraccess.com. It started just me only. I found one other guy. Me and him started working. We worked together for like a year and started posting content. A year after the GamerX.com launched, we had doubled our traffic from Sony PS3 News, so we were getting about 1,000 visits a day, and continuing to go on. Then I started building the staff. and we got to like a staff of like 10 people. I'm not going to mention any names
Hmm.
just because long story short, we went from a team of 10 down to just me.
Wow.
Just because one thing I've learned is even though it's a game industry, you expect everyone to be cool, everyone to be passionate about the industry. You got to understand there's shady people in the business. And there's a lot of people that are trying to do things behind your back and trying to take advantage of you. I found some stuff out, found what these people were doing. I had to cut them off. It was not easy because I'm like, okay, I have 10 people contributing to the
That's a
site.
big jump. Like seriously, from
Yeah,
10 to 1.
yeah. So we have this much content coming out. Now it's going to be all laid on me. At the time, I was like, well, do I even want to run the website anymore? I might as well just go join another website because I'm not going to be able to handle all this by myself. But I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a few months. Let's see where this goes. So shortly after that, I started recruiting new staff members, and we're still not up to that 10 mark. But one thing I've noticed is I'm not focused on the quantity of staff members I have. I'm more worried about the quality because me, for example, I'm not really bringing in a heavy stream of income. This is not my job. It's something I do in my free time.
Yeah, not a lot
I
of people have it as a job yet, even though, outside of the big IGNs and the Kotakus and stuff like that.
Right, and I'm working to make this my job. Literally 95% of my free time is related to progressing myself in the industry in some shape or fashion, whether it's doing behind the scenes work. I do more work behind the scenes than you see on the website. People say all the time, they're like, Nick, you say you do all this, but I only see a few posts from you throughout the week. And I'm like, you don't understand, first of all, my show, Nick's Game View, if you guys don't watch it, it's a weekly
Yes,
show.
I watch it all the time. I watch Nick's Gaming View. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and you've seen that.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, it's only a 5 to 6 minute show." You're correct. It takes at least 10 hours to produce it because people don't understand. I've got to get the news. I've got to put up my set. I don't have a large production studio that I can just walk into and press record. I've got a green screen. I've got to set my room up. I've got lighting because to execute green screen efficiently, you have to have perfect lighting. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So put up my set, I record, and editing. Editing my show takes a editing alone takes about 4 to 5 hours just because there's about 12 video layers. I have to do transitions with the videos. I have to make sure my audio is matching up with
It's
what
a
I'm talking
long process, basically. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
about for my show. That's a weekend project. Pretty much all the free time I have on the weekend goes into my show. So that's one post. But then like articles, reviews, behind the scenes work, people don't understand like these partnerships I have with like dailymotion.com, complex.com, mevio.com. I have quite a few partnerships and a new one coming up possibly next week, so stay tuned to that. This stuff doesn't it's not just as simple as, "Hey, I want to partner with you guys." Okay, cool. It's not that easy. You've got to talk about contract negotiations because there's been times I can't talk about because some of it's under NDA, but there's some companies that I'm partnered with now. When I first got in touch with them, they pretty much wanted me to sign an exclusive agreement where I could only partner with them and I'd have to be exclusive to them. I don't want to do that because while it may be a huge opportunity, what happens if a larger opportunity comes?
Exactly. You don't want to
I'm
shoot yourself in the foot, obviously.
if I'm in a 1 year exclusive agreement, I'm stuck. So I would rather let that great opportunity go and work on the next one than lock myself down. So that's pretty much where I'm at today. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. This year you guys are gonna see a lot of stuff. This year alone, I've I've made so many accomplishments this year. Only not many of them have went public yet, but so many accomplishments this year that I've accomplished more this year alone. It's the year's not even half over than I have the previous 4 years. Just because of I've learned the business, I've spent more and more time on what I do and the contacts I have made. I mean, for PAX East 2012, it was the first time I was actually my travel expenses were paid for. E3
Nice. That's awesome.
2012, that was money out of my pocket. That was not money that I was given. For PAX East 2012, big shout out to Seagate for sponsoring us. They sponsored us for PAX East
Cool.
2012.
I saw that. I remember you posting up about it on Twitter and also on the website as well when you were talking about it.
And what I tell people is like, Seagate is a huge company, a huge company. For them to be willing to sponsor a small website, they know the passion that I have. They know that, okay, Nick is not going to request freaking $10,000 minimum like a larger site would, but he has more passion than them, so he's going to be able to produce the same amount of content. We're going to get a better value out of it. That's how the sponsorship came about. Because if you think I was the only candidate for a sponsorship from Seagate, I wasn't. There was other websites that are 10 times larger than the GamerAccess.com, but I was able to secure it, one, because my relationship with Seagate, really cool with the guys over there. Two, they love the work that I do, and three, they understand the passion I have.
That's cool. So here, let me ask you another question before we kind of wrap up. We're getting closer to that bench part mark. Stand by to go to part two, guys. But let me ask you this. When you were still okay, what was the name of the website you said before? Like right before it became the Gamer Access, was PlayStation? Was it PS3?
SonyPS3News.com.
PS3news.com. Okay, so tell us a little bit like towards the end of that, like what was the ultimate decision or what was the ultimate thing that made you caused, to kind of transition over or change it to the gamer access like that, or what was kind of like the defining, thing that really did it for you to kind of take that next step?
So pretty much with Sony PS3 News, like I said, at the time, traffic was about 400, 500 visits a day, which at the time was amazing for me. And I was like, this might be something where I might be able to turn this into a hobby. At the time, because at the time it was just something where, yeah, it's just a website I run. But I was like, okay, now I might be able to turn it into a hobby. It's more than a hobby now, but back then I was like, okay, maybe I can turn this into a hobby. If I want to do this as a hobby, though, I need to cover the gaming industry, not just PS3, because I'm restricting my audience. If someone doesn't care for the PS3, they don't own a PS3, why would they come to Sony PS3 News?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me hammer the gaming industry. And when Sony PS3 News was about, my number one dream, and I swear this was something I didn't think would happen until like I was in my mid 20s, was to go to E3.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
This is crazy, but I was eligible to go to E3 2009 and 2010. I was eligible to go to E3 within less than a year of being a part of the gaming industry, period. And the thing was, why couldn't I get into 2009, 2010? My age. Because there's a 17 and older limit. I'm relatively young, and I was 15, couldn't go. 16. Now, this is the crazy thing. I was 16. I turned 17 2 days after the first day of E3.
Oh, that sucks. That's like you barely missed the benchmark.
The director, pretty much the guy who is in charge of E3, and I write this professional letter, and I'm like, look, this is the work I've done. I've missed it by 2 days. This is my professional work. Can we make this happen? And no. So I went to E3 last year, had an absolute blast going to E3 this year, and I am psyched. E3 is the gaming event to go to. That
Yes, that it is. So we're gonna cut it off this part now. Be sure to check out part two, guys, as I continue to sit down with Nick McCandless over here on the BITT. Talk to you guys in a minute.